Why We Ride is a documentary film about the passion of the riders and the souls of their machines. One thing we learned really early on in the development of this documentary was, in order to capture the romance and the poetry of what motorcycles do and how they're connected to their rider and how that's connected to the environment, is to capture it in slow-mo.
Motorcycling is all about motion. Shooting at 120 frames per second allows us to slow bikes down that are sometimes going over 100 miles an hour.
I needed to have 120 frames per second, this being a motorcycle documentary. So I needed to be able to be very small, little lens up on top of a jib 12 feet in the air, to being down onto a slider, to being a giant 10:1 cinema, 4K, 120 frames per second, out in the middle of the Mojave Desert, just capturing this amazing landscape. And the C500 seemed to be the right pick for this documentary.
Canon's been a game changer in the last few years with their DSLR series. The level of quality that they're providing for the relative cost is unparalleled. And the fact that you can now shoot on their same sensors in a cinema-style camera, it's going to change everything.
When shooting ultra-high def, optics become more critical than ever. We were lucky enough to have Canon's new Cinema Primes and Zooms in our kit, which are perfectly suited to 4K. They're incredibly versatile, with excellent close focus, very pleasing bokeh, and incredible sharpness. And since you can get them in PL mount or EF mount, they're great for anything from a documentary or feature film to a commercial.
And one of the nice things that this camera package did for us is, I know this can sound funny, is battery life. Having a battery that lasts 3 hours out there in the middle of the desert, out on a racetrack, it sounds like the smallest thing, but when you add that up over time, it gives me another 3-4 setups. One thing I knew I wanted to capture in the making of this film is to really show the skill level and the precision that these riders have on their bikes. And in one particular shot, we were shooting at the Daytona 200, where there was these 5-6 riders, and they're coming through the chicane, which is this left turn and then this right turn. Being at 120 frames, down on the end of that lens, and seeing every one of them doing exactly the same maneuver coming through that, it really helped you, and hopefully will help the audience, to appreciate the level of skill that these individuals have on these motorcycles. They're not just wild guys. This is a trained athlete.